Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. It is 9:00 on Friday, and you are watching or listening to Friday Friends, RA Elder Info's weekly streaming podcast, where we bring you information and resources that you or someone you know needs to know about. I am Deb Burton, your host, and I would like to ask you to please hit the like button, the share button, all the social media cues that are telling people, hey, please check this out. So if you've been watching us for a while, you know in the month of June, it is World Elder Abuse Awareness Month. And so all month, we're going to be touching on topics around recognizing and reporting elder abuse. It is far more common than a lot of folks realize. For every one person who reports, there's usually about 10 who don't. So please hit the like and the share button. Please drop your comments in there. But I also understand that for some people that this might be kind of touchy. So if you need to drop off, I understand that too, because I want people to get the information they need without being stressed out. So please do what is best for you. Now, as you all know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we could not bring you this information without the support of our sponsors. So huge thank you to Point 32 Health Foundation, Oak Street Health and United Healthcare, England Studio, 321 Media, Washington Trust. They have been a wonderful partner here for Friday Friends, and McCarthy Law is also one of our sponsors. So we are super grateful that all of these organizations are able to bring you the information that you or someone you know needs to know about. So huge thank you and shout out to our sponsors. So today I am speaking with Kirsten Pacca, the social worker at McCarthy Law. Welcome, Kirsten.
Hi, Deb. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Did I say the first name right? Because I feel like I get tongue-tied on that sometimes.
You said my first name correctly. It's Kirsten, and my last name is pronounced Pacca, like pack a lunch.
Oh, see, I totally changed the sound of the A in there. So I do
that's
apologize.
Okay. It's no problem. Problem.
It's kind of unusual for an attorney's office to have a care coordinator. What is it that you actually do at McCarthy Law? Because your role isn't really as a legal advisor, right?
I am not a legal advisor. I am not an attorney. I am a social worker. And yes, it is unusual to have a social worker at a law firm, but my role here is to help the clients of our law firm, working with the attorney, to find, get, and pay for good care where the clients want to receive that care. So that might be at home or that might be in a care community. And it's my role to coordinate the care for those individuals.
That is huge, because I think most people, we always think about, we want to stay home for as long as possible, but not really sure exactly how to do that. So in your role as a social worker, do you go out and meet with the families, or do you meet with them when they come to the office? How does that work?
So actually, I do both. So during the initial consult, if an individual would be interested or there is an identified need for any social services or care issues, I would meet with the client and their family along with the attorney in our office, if the elder could come to the office. And then the next step would be for me to go to the individual's home to do a care assessment. And that's where we would get a little bit more into the weeds about what are your goals for remaining at home and identify any needs that the person might have. And it is at that point that I would help the client access those services.
That is so critically important, because I think there's benefits to be able to see individuals in the environment that they live in on a regular basis. Sometimes people might have challenges that they don't necessarily recognize because they have accumulated over time. So like I think of back in the day, I used to be able to see, without the glasses. Now,
Me too.
that's all fuzzy. And over time, like the glasses get stronger, right?
Yes.
And sometimes like we have more clutter accumulating in the house or maybe some other, opportunities for improvement. And so can you help people navigate if they need to do like home modifications, put grab bars in? Can you help people find resources for that?
Yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we partner with Oakley Home Access for all of our clients. So when a client signs up for life care planning, then at the home assessment, I would coordinate with Oakley Home Access to schedule then a home safety assessment if the client is interested, because falls are the number one reason why a senior would go to the hospital. And if the person's goal is to stay at home, we need to help the senior make their home be as safe as possible so we can help them achieve their goals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Oakley Home Access is registered with the contractors board. They are insured, all of those things, and they can do quite an extensive amount of work for individuals. So great organization there for Oakley. I remember when Justin was just getting started. So back in the day, so that's great. So sometimes, people may be in a situation that is not safe or not ideal, or the caregiver might be really doing their very best, but it's not enough. And the people aren't necessarily safe in their environment, even with all the modifications. So do you make reports for Adult Protective Services or to the Office of Healthy Aging when you have concerns?
So first, it is everybody's responsibility to report any concerns of any elder abuse or elder neglect. So I want to say that first. However, assuming that there is an established relationship with the client and there is a caregiver in the home, if I do have suspicion that there might be some neglect or any other form of abuse, I would take the time first to speak to the senior to understand their point of view. And then I would report if necessary. So that would be the way that I would handle that type of situation. It does help in my role that I have a relationship with the senior already, and also with the support system around that senior as well.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense because we don't lose our right to make our own decisions as we get older. And like that includes who we associate with and the things that we do in our own lives. So totally hear that. Sometimes, if there is someone watching and they do have concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Office of Healthy Aging. Their number is the 401-462-0555 number. And they're really going to try to help people get connected with more resources to the extent that the individual wants. So that's really important for people to understand that, yeah, we have to report it, but they're not stormtroopers coming in and taking people out. But
absolutely not.
Sometimes as we get older, because we maybe have mobility limitations, transportation challenges, some of the things that just kind of occur as we get older, sometimes that makes folks a little bit more vulnerable to ne'er-do-wells who want to come in and take advantage of the situation. Are there things that can be done from a legal standpoint that might protect an older adult's wishes regarding their health or handling their finances?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, this is where powers of attorney for both healthcare and financial come into play. That is your best protection, or the senior's best protection, about anybody else swooping in and coming in to help.
Yep.
And so that is probably the best legal protection for this senior that we have right now.
Those things are so important. And in your role as a care manager, well, let me ask, do you work with couples?
I do work with couples, yes.
And I see sometimes that when it's a couple situation and one passes away, that sometimes there are some real, I don't know, slimy people who are watching the obituaries and suddenly want to be the new best friend of the widow or widower. Is that something that like kind of pings on your radar sometimes?
That is something actually that always pings on my radar, that suddenly there is a long lost relative that has been estranged for a long time, or a long time neighbor from 35 years ago that are coming in to help. And so I'm not saying that that individual may not, that person might have good intentions. However, that is always something to evaluate and to assess if that person is truly there to help, or if that person is helping with a hidden agenda. And that hidden agenda might be to access some of the finances, or to somehow gain access to the house after the second spouse passes away, or whatever the person has in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Like these things just totally make me cringe. Now, in your role as a care coordinator, sometimes I hear a statement that it doesn't ping necessarily for a concern of abuse or anything like that. But when I hear the statements of my mom's husband, my dad's wife, are you able to kind of help couples navigate that blended family as they age in your role as a care coordinator?
Yes, that would be part of my role. And I'm chuckling slightly because I do also have a blended family. So I will be navigating this personally as I age. So yes, that would be my role, is to help families navigate. It could be a sudden crisis that they are facing, and there's two different sets of kids that might have varying levels of relationships with each elder. So yes, that would be part of my role to help everybody navigate through that, but also help the kids understand, regardless of who the parent is it's the elder that is needing the help, is really the person that I'm advocating for. So
That's
it's really
very
that
cool.
elder. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think sometimes younger generations might want to just kind of plow over what the parents, grandparents, what the elder is saying and wanting. So I'm really glad that individuals would have you there in their corner to say, wait a minute, no, you need to respect what they said.
Yeah, it's hard to not agree with the decisions of the senior. And when that senior has competence, it might not be what you decide for yourself right now. And it is hard to say, but I think there's a better way. So you have to, allow people to make decisions for themselves, whether you agree with them or not. And it just gets harder as parents age.
Absolutely.
You love them and you want them to be safe, and it's really well intended. It just might not always come out that way.
I kind of think of it almost like when your parents are watching the kids learn to drive for the first time. And it's like, oh my.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
You want the independence, but you're also, boy, scared to death too. Now, can you help people navigate what they need and want if they don't have a partner. You know, a lot of folks are aging alone now, and they don't really have a sounding board. Can you be that for them?
I can be that for that person, and that is why life care planning is really beneficial, because some people do not have anybody, and some people just have there's nobody available to help get the services that could help the person be successful at home or successfully age at home. So that in particular is when life care planning can be especially beneficial, so that I can be that coordinator for that person that might be living alone here, and maybe their only child is living in California and gets here twice a year. And so how wonderful for that family to know that there's somebody else that's kind of taking the lead to help the family achieve their goal of having the elder remain at home.
Yeah, that peace of mind is huge, because there are a lot of folks, they're aging alone because they didn't have, family, or they have survived their family, or their family's on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, having that opportunity to have a trusted resource, I think is really important. Now, if people wanted to reach out to you, how can they reach you? What's the best way for them to do that?
So the best way would be to call the main office, which is 401-541-5540. That is the main number.
And then they can ask to speak with you. They can also set up appointments to get those documents in order for the future. All of those things kind of in a one-stop shop. Is that right?
That is correct. So they can call. We do have an intake coordinator who will kind of talk with them and figure out the best person to meet with, and then assess whether or not my services would be needed for that consult.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's not like a whole separate call. It's
one-stop shop, just like you said. Yes.
Yeah. Good. That is amazing, because I think a lot of times it can feel overwhelming when you have a lot of different moving pieces of, oh my gosh, I need to get all my legal documents in order, and I got to figure out, how to renovate the house, and, my loved one is declining, and I'm trying to be the best, caregiver I can be. And yeah, so that is a good peace of mind right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you're super busy, so I really do appreciate taking the time to come on and talk to me on Friday Friends today. I think I said, 10 or 15 minutes, and I've kept you longer, and I do appreciate that. But thank you. This is so important.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Everybody, it is amazing when you can have the help that you need to navigate these health and social service systems, because, they can be a little onerous at times. And Kirsten is a great opportunity to help you and your loved one navigate. So you can always give her a call at 401-541-5540. And in the meantime, if you feel like somebody is maybe not quite safe, maybe not doing as well as they could be doing, or you have concerns about their safety, everybody in Rhode Island is a mandatory reporter for suspicions of older adults who are just not doing well. So you can reach out to the Office of Healthy Aging. Their number is 401-462-0555. And you can have a conversation with one of their staff members. You can leave your name and number if you want, or you can even do it anonymously. What's important is that we all work together to get people the information and resources they need to live the life that we all want to, independently, in happiness and joy as we age. So please hit the like button, the share button, all those things to help get the word out. I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. In the meantime, be well and be kind.
If you like this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, Visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.